Zorro, Rita, Captain Jack, Idiot Sparrow, and Mr. Green Goblin? I wonder what the heck these amazing characters have one thing in common and one thing only. Oh, I know. They worked together on this film called Once Upon a Time in Mexico. And yes, it came from in the Mariachi Saga. And I gotta tell you, the truth is, ladies and dudes, I have never seen the other two films. Nope, I didn't see the original one and the sequel. At least they brought back the original director who worked on all three of the films. That's for sure. Well, I guess everybody wants to know what the heck do I think about this movie, and I will tell you about that right now. So anyway, hi ladies and dudes, this is Rebecca Lynn Barkley, aka BoobBop1987. This is my review for today. And today, finally at long last, for almost 4 or 5 months ago, and I'm very, very darn sorry, over 9,000, I'm sorry I took so darn long to work on this movie review. Or been waiting for this movie review for quite a while. But be happy, it's finally here, and I want to do this before the De los Muertos will come. You know, it's that a Mexican celebration thing to celebrate our people who are in, well, you could say it's a Mexican Halloween type of thing, and try to celebrate our loved ones' legacy that came from Mexico, and bring our family home to the land they came from, and all that important stuff. So I really want to do this movie review before the De los Muertos comes. And I gotta do it right now in Halloween. Well, hard for me to say. So for my next movie review is Once Upon a Time in Mexico. And yes, it is a part of the Mariachi Saga. And no, ladies and dudes, I gotta tell you the truth right now. I have never seen the other two films. Something I'm not familiar with, but I remember The Mask of Zorro. Yeah, I remember that movie pretty well. And yeah, I'll show you this. Isn't this a lovely picture? And Salma Hayek is also a part of it too. And I guess you want to know why Once Upon a Time in Mexico? And why are you so darn familiar with it? Well, I know two things and two things only. Remember that beautiful Latin singer named Enrique Iglesias? He's really a part of this movie, and I did not know he's going to be featured in his first feature-length film. This is the only film he ever worked on, and he never became an actor ever again after that, since he is a Latin singer and all that stuff. And I did see this movie on HBO. Yeah, I have HBO back then, but I never had it again after that. So, it's a good idea to rewatch this movie and try to relive this film, since I'm familiar with it. So, anyway, without further ado, ladies and dudes, let's head on to my next movie review of Once Upon a Time in Mexico. So, let's get on to the main plot of the story. It's a story about this dude named Mariachi, weird name to say. As you may know him, he's been an assassin dude for all of his life, you know, going on missions, hunting down for some bad people, start killing them off as soon as he can. I guess he's the same thing like Brian Mills. He likes to kill people and let his hands be stained in blood. And then later on in his life, he found a lady that he fell in love with who is also an assassin. They're trying to move on with their lives, start on a brand new journey together. They got married, they had a daughter, and Mariachi had a job at Mexico, working on guitars since he loves guitars, and everything was a-okay back then, but not until these unknown dudes that came out of nowhere, dressing up in military outfits. There's one dude who came by and murdered his wife and his daughter in the streets. And this guy needs to go on a mission to find that guy who murdered his family, and he wants, seek out revenge on that guy for what he did to his family, and also ruin his brand new life as a normal guy. And he's going to get help from this unknown dude called Agent Sand. Weird name to say, but, well, you get the picture. That's all I could say about the main plot of the story of Once Upon a Time in Mexico. And I guess everybody wants to know is, what the heck do I think about this movie? Well, to tell you the truth is, ladies and dudes, I really did enjoy this movie. This is a very fun movie to watch, but sadly this movie has a few flaws here and there. It had a really good storyline. It has good, strike that, reverse it. It had a good storyline, good casting, really likable characters. I wish there's a little bit more to them. It has good cinematography. It had a really good score. And the action scenes are fine, except for the climax part of the movie. That was interesting. And yes, this movie has some ton of fun facts to be found. So anyway, ladies and dudes, let's head on to my strongest points and the weakest points of Once Upon a Time in Mexico. I will say for my strongest point of this movie is really Johnny Depp's performance as this Agent Sand dude. Weird name. That's a really weird name for a character. And yeah, that director dude had a really fun time with Johnny Depp, and I think his performance is perfectly well done and perfectly well spot on. I will say this is my favorite performance for Johnny Depp's career. And since there's a weird fun fact is that Johnny Depp is not interested of seeing himself in his very own films that he worked on for many, many years. Weird thing to say. But yeah, I will say that Johnny Depp's character is the most funnest one of all. He had a good storyline, great personality, great attitude. He has some fantastic moments here and there in this whole entire movie. And yeah, he has some good dialogues for it. He's a tough cookie. I just had a fun time with this character. And yeah, he's truly the biggest part about this whole entire movie. He had a big role all the way through from start to finish. So yeah, Johnny Depp's character as Agent Sands, he's really the best part about this movie and really the strongest point for this whole entire film. And now let's head on to some interesting fun facts you should know about this movie. Since I already told you about Enrique Iglesias, this is the only movie he's been ever featured on, and he hasn't been on another film ever again since. But I remember him and Salma Hayek, they do have something in common, and they did get involved with the project of Wild Wild West. We already know that Salma Hayek played Rita, one of the damsel distress characters in the whole entire film. And also, Enrique Iglesias did a song called Bailamos. I need to know what the heck that word means in Latin. Something I don't know about. And yes, ladies and dudes, Salma Hayek, Willem Dafoe, and Johnny Depp, they do have one thing in common. They also worked with Kenneth Branagh in two separate films. One is Wild Wild West, and the other is Murder on the Oriental Express. Since I enjoyed those two films so much, for the most part. And also, we know that Selma Hayek and Antonio Banderas, they also worked together in some other films too. They worked on Spy Kids saga and also the Poots and Boots saga. And yeah, the director guy also worked with Selma Hayek and Antonio Banderas for some projects here and there. Just for the Mariachi saga and also the Spy Kids saga. And yeah, he also worked on screenwriting some of the films here and there, surprisingly to say. And here's another interesting fun fact you should know about this film. Well, something about Willem Dafoe, aka Mr. Green Goblin. Did you know that our beloved Mr. Green Goblin also worked with Johnny Depp's daughter, Lily Rose Depp? And you already know about a movie review I did this year called Nosferatu. And yes, surprisingly to say, they're going to work together again in Werewolf. And there's going to be a Nosferatu reunion about it, surprisingly to say. And yeah, the movie will come out next year on Christmas. Cool, huh? So, overall, those are the fun facts I can find for Once Upon a Time in Mexico. And now let's head on to my weakest points of the movie. Sadly, I only got 2 main weak points of the movie. Just 2. One weak point in the movie is I wish we could get to know the other characters more. We only know a little bit about them for a short period of time in this movie. I wish that director guy should have thought about maybe adding extra 20 minutes or so we could flesh out and develop the characters more, since they are also important to the story. I wish we could get to know Enrique Iglesias' character, since he's very darn interesting to this movie. I want to get to know about his pal who likes to drink alcohol many, many times. I wish we could get to know about this FBI dude who's retired and he had a tragic past and he lost a good friend that he knew from years ago. And also get to know about a little bit more about Mariachi's storyline, since he's just a supporting role in this film and not the main character of the film. So I just wish the director guys should have thought about working on the characters way more over 9,000 and not just Johnny Depp's character as Agent Sand. Well, if you guys get the picture. And also, for my second main weak point in the movie, and I'm sorry to say this, but Mr. Green Goblin is pretty darn useless in the whole entire movie. I mean, this guy had no storyline at all, he had no personality, no attitude, and his accent really does suck. He doesn't speak Mexican very well. This is the worst performance I have ever seen from Mr. Green Goblin. He's really the main downhill part of this movie. Very downhill over 9,000. I think he should have been cut off from this movie and let somebody else who deserves another role than that, or just be another part of the story or something like that. Hard for me to say. So anyway, ladies and dudes, I hate to say it, but Mr. Green Goblin is truly the most weakest part about the movie. And I think his character should have been cut off completely so we can focus on the other characters more in this film. And now let's go on to the characters. Like I said, Johnny Depp's character as Agent Sands, he's the most funnest part ever in movie history. The best one of all. I do like I do like Antonio Banderas' character. I do like Enrique Iglesias' character. I do like the guy who plays the FBI dude who had a tragic past. And the drunken dude, Selma Hayek's character, and so on and so forth. They're all very enjoyable characters to watch. But I just wish they deserve a little bit more role to the storyline. That's for sure. I gotta hurry up and wrap this up. So overall, Once Upon a Time in Mexico is a really good movie to watch. And sadly, this movie has some flaws here or there, but well, you get the picture. It had a good storyline for the most part. The characters are likable, really good casting, except for one, sadly to say. It has not too bad action scenes. It had a really good score and really good fun facts to be found. And so for my rating for this film, I decided to give it an 8 out of 10. So please enjoy this movie whenever you can. And I want to wish everybody and everyone a happy Halloween and also the De los Muertos. Amen. And that's my whole entire movie review for today, so I better go ahead and get going. I have some important things here and there, and I'll be back for my next movie review to come, whatever it's going to be. So, I'll see you all later, and sayonara!